Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm celebrating the fact that I've reached 500 subscribers here on YouTube. I thought it would be fun to do kind of a different video to celebrate, so I asked on Facebook and Instagram for you to give me any questions you might have about me or my channel. So let's get started. Tell you that I was feeling really tired this afternoon when I was trying to film this the first time, and I just couldn't get through it. So I took a little bit of a break, and then I had an iced coffee and a grilled sticky from Eaton Park, and I feel so much better. There's nothing that a grilled sticky can't fix. So I printed out my list of questions and I have it here in front of me if I ever happen to look down. My first question is from my friend Jen from the channel When with Jen, and I'll put a link to her channel in my description box below. She asked me, what inspired you to start your channel? So Jen and everyone else, I started watching YouTube probably back in maybe like 2012, 2013. I've been a huge YouTube fan for a long time, and I first started watching beauty YouTube videos, and then I got into more like what you would call mommy content, like ideas for educational activities for kids, and like recipes that are kid-friendly, things like that. Also, I've always loved performing, and I just didn't feel like I had that creative outlet in my life these days, now that I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids. For many, many years I've been a dance teacher, and just this past year I decided not to do that because I just felt a little bit too busy at home. But then I had this kind of creative void that I wanted to fill. So my husband suggested that I watch YouTube all the time, why don't I create my own content? And I have always wanted to have my own show on Food Network. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to have a free platform to just kind of start out and put my recipes and my personality out there. So my next question is from my good friend Ryan from college. So we sang in choir together at the University of Pittsburgh, and we were both, still are, big foodies. I remember when we went on our tour to South America with the Heinz Chapel Choir, we ate these incredible filet mignon sandwiches with grilled pineapple on top. There was some kind of cheese too, now that I remember. They were so fabulous, and he was there with me to experience that. So he asked me, when are you going to be applying for the next Food Network star? And in fact, I already have. 12 years ago, two of my great friends from college, Peter and Kareem, they came over to my apartment and helped me film a little video to submit. So I remember I made little brownie bites that had a brown sugar buttercream frosting. And you know, you always have to have a story to tell. So this was based on my childhood family vacations. We would always go to Scottsdale, Arizona, and one of our first stops was to a C's candy store. And we would each get like our own little box selection of candies that we could keep in our hotel room for the week during our vacation. So my favorite candy was called the milk chocolate Bordeaux. So it has a brown sugar buttercream filling. It is out of this world. I love it. And now they sell these big bars. They're like, they're huge and they're incredible. So you can just get a massive milk chocolate covered Bordeaux. So that's what inspired my brownie recipe. So I submitted that. Unfortunately, I was not selected, and then life happened and I never applied again. However, I recently was looking at the application online, so maybe another application video is in my future soon. My next questions are from my friend Ellen from the YouTube channel Ellen's Homemade Delights, and I'll link her down below too. We've collaborated together before. She makes awesome Southern recipes. So Ellen's asked, first of all, I'm so excited to answer this one, what countries would you like to visit? And in fact, I have visited a lot of countries already. I've been very blessed, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to travel a lot in my late teens and my early 20s. To start, I studied abroad for a semester in Rome, Italy. So during that time, I traveled all over Italy. Prior to that, I hiked across the entire country of Spain. I did the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, which is a pilgrimage all the way across northern Spain. So I started in what's called Roncesvalles. It's a city in France, right in the Pyrenees Mountains. So the very first day of our hike, we climbed all through the Pyrenees Mountains to get into the country of Spain. And then we hiked about 440 miles across the country. So I've done that, I've seen a lot of Spain. And then being over in Europe a few other times too, I just tried to take advantage of the opportunity to visit as many countries as possible. So I've been to France, Germany, Austria, Hungary, the Czech Republic, I've been to the Netherlands, the UK, Cyprus, Spain, I mentioned Italy, all kinds of countries. And then I mentioned before my choir tour to South America, I've been to Uruguay, Argentina, and Brazil. So it may sound funny, but next on my list is actually to explore the United States a little bit more. My husband and I and my kids have a trip planned this summer. We want to go to Tennessee, a state I've never been to, and it's within a reasonable driving distance from our home. So we want to do like a little family road trip. If you have any tips, where to eat, where to stay, what to do with 4 kids, 6 and under, well, my son will be 7 at the time, but 4 kids 7 and under during like the summertime, please leave them in the comments below. We are so excited. I am ready for biscuits, I am ready for hot chicken sandwiches, and I want all the barbecue, so leave your recommendations below. Ellen also asked, who is my favorite chef on television? And I have a lot. First of all, Ina Garten. I love her. She is so classy and fun. I want to be her friend. I want to see her home because it's gorgeous. And every single thing that she makes, I want to eat, which is very important. She just seems so down to earth, and I've loved her for years. I'm looking at my list here because there's a bunch. There are 2 chefs that I love to listen to talking about food. So one is Nigella Lawson and the other is Alex Guarnaschelli. They both just have such a way with words when they're describing the food that they're talking about or food that they've eaten before. I could listen to them for hours. I always want to eat whatever they're talking about. I really enjoy Bobby Flay's show Brunch with Bobby because I would absolutely make anything that he creates because breakfasty foods are one of my favorite categories by far. So that's another favorite show and favorite personality on TV. Okay, a couple more. I love Jeff Morrow. He won the Next Food Network Star several seasons ago, and his first show after he won that was Sandwich King. I love that show. I made tons of recipes from it and they were all really tasty. And he's hilarious, so I think he is so entertaining and funny. He was a great winner. I love the Pioneer Woman. She is just so fun to watch. I particularly like her earlier episodes when her kids were a little younger. I just liked kind of living the whole country life along with her. That show to me is definitely all about the ambiance and the experience of her lifestyle as much as it is about the cooking. Lastly, I have to give a shout out to Laura Vitale. She is a famous chef who started here on YouTube. She still creates videos on a weekly basis, but she's also had a show on the cooking channel. She's published a cookbook. She's just awesome. She's an inspiration to me because she started here on YouTube and she's just so down to earth. My next question is from Talk to Terry 62, and she asked who has inspired me throughout my life with cooking and baking. So the first person that comes to mind is my mom. She is a wonderful cook, and my dad really doesn't like to go out to eat at restaurants, so she would always have a great home-cooked meal on the table for us every night for dinner. So I grew up eating home-cooked meals. Then I went to college, and my freshman year I lived in an apartment with my older sister, Elizabeth Jade. And she got me into cooking. My mom bought us subscriptions to Martha Stewart Everyday Food magazine, and we would get them on a monthly basis and just go through all the recipes, and she inspired me just to try new things, and I kind of had to cook for myself because I didn't have a meal plan at school. I was on my own eating, so that's when I really started cooking for myself, probably when I was about 18. Beyond that, my cousin Barb is just the queen of entertaining in my mind. I love going to her home. We have an annual 4th of July family reunion there, and she makes the best dips and appetizers and desserts, and there's always something for everybody. She always tries a new recipe and it's always amazing. So I've actually made some recipes inspired by her, and I'll link those below. Some dips that actually would be good for the Super Bowl coming up. Lastly, my mother-in-law, Mary Lynn, has been a huge inspiration to me. She is a wonderful baker, and before I met her, I had never baked with yeast, ever. I was too intimidated. And she makes all her own bread from scratch. We're actually going there tomorrow for a spaghetti dinner, and she's gonna have fresh bread, and I cannot wait to eat it because I know it's gonna be amazing, and her home is gonna smell amazing. So I started making cinnamon rolls once I met her, and that actually blossomed into a small business for me. I was baking cinnamon rolls out of my home and selling them at a local farmer's market, and all because I wasn't intimidated anymore to cook with yeast, or to bake with yeast. And what else does she make? Oh, well, she's Italian American, so she has introduced me to a whole world of homemade sauce and eggplant rollatini and pepperoni rolls. I guess that's more of an American thing, but she makes them the best. So a lot of family members in my life have inspired me along the way with my cooking and my baking. Talk to Terry 62 also asked, what is my favorite meal and what is my favorite recipe. I'm gonna start broad and then kind of whittle it down here as I go. So first of all, I love breakfast foods, both savory and sweet. Give me the pancakes and the cinnamon buns and the French toast with a side of bacon and sausage and eggs and hash browns. I'll take it all. Secondly, I love appetizers. That is absolutely one of my favorite food groups. I rarely entertain, so when I do have a party, I tend to make way more than I need because I want to try 1,000,001 different new appetizer recipes. Bacon wrap dates, which I want to make for you soon, are life-changing. You just gotta try them, trust me. And of course, I was not born with just one sweet tooth, but all sweet teeth. So desserts, hands down, are the best category for me, by far. Some of my favorite meals to eat are pad thai with a big glass of Thai iced tea on the side. I also love a perfectly cooked steak, preferably either a filet mignon or a ribeye. I used to love filet mignon, but now my husband has introduced me to the new flavor of the ribeye, and I may even like that more, but both are fabulous. I also love cheesesteaks, and I even have a video dedicated to that, which I'll link below. Anytime I go to Philadelphia, I always have to get a cheesesteak with Cheese Whiz and onions on it. They're just the best. And I would say that right now, one of my favorite recipes to make for my family of 6 is my spaghetti sauce. In fact, it's my mother-in-law's recipe, which I've kind of made my own, and we make it almost every Sunday. It makes this huge vat of sauce. We fill it with meatballs and sausage. It just simmers all day. It couldn't be easier to make, and it's a delicious dinner that lasts throughout the week. I can freeze it for the next weekend if I want it. It's just so versatile. I even make it for parties when I'm hosting. I will link my recipe video for that below. That was the first video I ever shared on my channel, so it is near and dear to my heart, plus it's just awesome. So you should definitely try my sauce recipe. So those were all the questions that I received. They were awesome. Thank you so much for participating if you did. If something has come to mind that you'd like to ask me now, please leave it in the comments below because I will absolutely film another video like this. I love watching Q&A videos and I love making Q&A videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have 2 videos coming at you this week for the Super Bowl. One is a sweet recipe and one is a savory recipe, and they're both inspired by the teams that are playing next weekend. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Ann's Family Recipe. I post a lot of extra food-related content there. I show pictures of what I have on my kitchen table that night for dinner. I'll show what I'm eating out at restaurants in Pittsburgh, where I'm from. I share extra recipes there, so there's a lot of additional things for you to enjoy over on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was really fun, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe.